the answer because I had done 5 years in college. And here's what I figured after 5 years in college. Number one, very expensive. How many of us came to that conclusion? I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars of education. Number two, it took some time. I literally gave 5 years of my life, and nobody was talking about business ownership. Nobody was talking about creating wealth. Nobody was teaching me or you the principles of the wealthy. And so if you think about people that have become wealthy in our country, number one, they own businesses. Yet nowhere through high school, nowhere through junior high, nowhere through elementary school did one teacher say the secret to success in our country is business ownership. Matter of fact, they didn't even talk about the tax system. How many of us here went through school and nobody talked about the tax system? Nobody talked about the one thing that you're going to have to know your entire adult life when it comes to making money. So the number one thing is owning a business. Now, what stopped me from owning businesses probably stopped a lot of other people. The price of entry. See, I think there's so many great businesses in America, but I also know that a lot of them come with a big price tag. You know, Dunkin' Donuts is $500,000. You can't get a McDonald's for under $1 million cash. So when you look at most of these businesses, they're tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and they don't usually come with a coach or a mentor. The second thing wealthy people do is they make money 24 hours a day. Now, let's talk about the way you and I get paid. Do you realize that we use electricity 24 hours a day? That people use cell phones 24 hours a day? That we're going to get paid on these essential services 24 hours a day? And the third thing is the leverage of other people. You've got to have the efforts of other people. See, that was one thing that I was not taught in school. Nobody would know who Bill Gates was if he didn't have tens of thousands of employees. Nobody would know who Jeff Bezos was if he didn't have tens of thousands of employees. These individuals became wealthy because they were practicing the principles of the wealthy. See, here's what I found about wealth in America. Number one, it's not biased. Women got wealthy, men got wealthy, yes or no? Doesn't care what religion you are. How many of us agree? People that are Christians, non-Christians, Muslims, Jewish, there's people that are wealthy in those religions and there's people that are not. The wealth of this world is created by principles. Now, I'm going to talk about some of those principles here tonight. The number one principle is the way you think. See, 97% of our country is not living financially free. Yet, we take opinions from them. You know what I loved about the script when it came to inviting? I wasn't asking their opinion. I was asking, do you look at other ways of making money? Great, I'll see you Wednesday night at 6:30. Click. Why? You need to come learn the information. Now, if you're too lazy to leave your house to come find out another way of making money, this probably isn't going to be for you. How many of us would agree with that statement? Maybe playing the lottery or going to the local casino. Maybe Lady Luck will be on your side. See, the number one thing is the way you think. So when you start thinking like wealthy people do not ask people their opinion. They do not ask them their opinion. They make a decision, go forward. So number one, it's the way you think. So just remember, when you get off here tonight, most people that you and I are going to run into are not financially free. So before you start asking their opinions or, hey, what do you think? Or do you think this is a good idea? Remember, they can only teach you what they have. That's what my mentor said. He said, if you listen to them, you become them. And that hit me like a ton of bricks because I know that the brokest people I know have the biggest mouth. How many of you found the same thing out in your life? Now, the number two thing is he said, Patrick, you got to have a burning desire. You got to have burning desire. Why? Because you're going to have to give up some time on the weekends. You're going to have to give up some evenings. You know why I'm so excited about being on here tonight? Because I know that you here tonight are willing to give up some time to learn how to get ahead financially. You're doing what 97% of our country will not do. They are home watching television, but not you and not me. We are talking about getting wealthy. And so the second thing is you got to have that burning desire. There's got to be things inside of you that you said, I cannot live without. Whether that's bringing your children up in a better way than you did, whether that's quitting a job, firing a boss, whether that's taking some more vacations, whatever is meaningful to you. Understand that is a burning desire that you cannot live without. Because when you have your priority systems right, when you have your goals right, see, goals are extremely easy. My goals were simple. It was God, family, ACN. See, that's how I organized my life. and everything else take a second seat to those things. So when I was making my priorities of what to do and where to go, I was making sure, am I in alignment with those three things? And if so, I'm going to go out and become somebody. And I've got the opportunity for that to happen. Now, there's something that's called specialized knowledge. For those of you that haven't read this book, it's called Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich. For those of you that are new, buy this book. If you listen to the audios, listen to it on audio, read it while you get a chance, highlight it. People that have made millions and millions of dollars have attributed their success to reading this book multiple times. So in the book, he talks about specialized knowledge. Henry Ford did not invent cars. He invented mass distribution of vehicles. Ray Kroc did not invent the hamburger. Ray Kroc did not invent McDonald's. Ray Kroc is the individual that made all the money in the McDonald's opportunity because he built distribution. So when you look at people like even Andrew Carnegie did not invent steel. Andrew Carnegie was in charge of making massive amounts of steel. Distribution. So the concept that I'm sharing with you here tonight is specialized knowledge. What we're talking about tonight is not normal for most people. Most people don't know anything about residual income. Most people don't know anything about distribution. They don't know how wealthy people became wealthy, and it's not their fault. They're ignorant, meaning no one taught them just like no one taught me. So let me talk about specialized knowledge. People that went from landline phones to cell phones got rich. People that went from riding horses to driving cars got rich. People that were involved in the internet, everybody started getting the internet. Those first players in the internet became wealthy, the AOLs of the world. These companies became wealthy because they were first when an industry was changing. Well, we're about to launch ID protection here in the United States. That is ID theft protection. What does that mean? That means every person in the United States should have their identity on lockdown. You should have it protected. People cannot open loans without you. People cannot get credit without your knowledge. People cannot go out and buy things without your knowledge. It has become an epidemic in our country with data breaches. So all of us as Americans, if we happen to have internet in our home or a home computer, you need ID theft protection. Now, I've been a LifeLock customer for 6 years. And here's why. Because I have a lot to lose. And what I find is the more that you get in life, the more you want to protect what you have. So people that make millions of dollars a year all have ID protection because they don't want somebody out doing things without their knowledge. Now, because they're having data breaches, because Marriott lost 500 million names and numbers, because Equifax got data breach for 148 million people's Social Security, date of birth, and names, that stuff is out on the World Wide Web. So we're going to launch a service at the end of March that's going to be needed by every person in the United States. In your lifetime, everybody's going to have it. Now, if you knew that cell phones were going to be popular, and you knew what you knew today, and I could take you back when all of us had a landline. Everybody remember a landline? And I said, you were going to be one of the first people to sell cell phones. How many stores would you want? You would try to put as many stores as you could because you knew over time what? Everybody's going to have one of these. And if you knew everybody's going to have one of these, that's called specialized knowledge. That means you know something that everybody else here doesn't know. And the reason why I'm talking about this is going to be something that you and I are going to be at the very beginning of an enormous industry that is being created right in front of our eyes. Because none of us needed ID protection before the internet. None of us needed to worry about somebody running our credit or opening up bank statement or opening up bank account. Nobody needed any of this stuff. If you call anybody in the police department or anybody you know in law enforcement and ask them, what do you do when somebody's identity gets taken? You know what they'll tell you? You know what? We look for the ID or the IP address, the computer address of whoever took your identity, and it's usually in the Bahamas or China or Africa or India or another country around the world, and there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. I have a young lady that works at a credit union. She said she's literally signed up hundreds of people on ID theft protection because, right, listen to this, because she's experienced them coming into the bank in tears, upset that somebody took their identity and took money out of their account. She's like, I am selling it as a preemptive. I am selling it so that people can be, protected, so we don't have to worry about this after the fact. Just like if you get a home security system like through Vivint, your homeowner's insurance goes down. Why? Because the likelihood of you getting robbed dramatically goes down. So can we agree the same thing if you work at a bank, they're recommending, hey, buy ID theft protection because we don't want to deal with you after the fact. Now, if you know anybody in banking, ask them the same thing. Hey, listen, what's going on in the banking industry? What's going on if somebody takes my identity and starts taking money out of my account? There's nothing these people can do. So anybody in banking, anybody in law enforcement, these are going to be some of our greatest representatives. I believe people that are in insurance. If you think about insurance, I'll insure your health and insure your car, insure your house. Now we're going to insure your identity. Make sure nothing happens to it. So these are going to be industries that are being created right in front of our eyes. It's going to be the biggest thing we've ever been a part of. And you've got to understand where you're sitting at because you've read the books. And it talks about being at the right place at the right time. And that's where you're sitting at here tonight. ACN has a 26-year track record, folks. We're not here to experiment. We're not here to talk about maybes. And there's a lot of companies that are in this space that never make it 5 years. Really, 99% of all companies in the direct marketing industry don't make it 5 years. Very few make it at all. So when you look at a company that has 26 years, we are a legacy company. We've got a depth of management that no other company has. This company is completely debt-free. They're doing business around the world. We're not just a localized company. We are a global company. And you and I get involved in this for $499. And the only thing we got to do is know how to do it. And the only way we're going to ever know how to do something is get trained. Now, here's what I found. Most people, now again, this is social conditioning. Most people will not go to a training, will not go out and go to a training because it costs money, because it's inconvenient. Yet, those same people have spent tens of thousands of dollars at universities all over North America and didn't think twice about spending tens of thousands of dollars. So I'm here to tell you about the event we're doing in March. This is going to be our greatest national convention. We've been waiting 26 years for what's about to take place at the end of March. March 29th, 30th, and 31st, ACN is about to unleash its greatest service. This ID protection, folks, 4% of our country has it. 96% of our country will have it. And you and I need to build distribution. We need to know how to do it. We have to get the training. We have to get the knowledge. We have to get everything that we need to be successful in this space. And ACN for $169 is going to teach you and everybody you bring with you to that event in Charlotte how to take advantage of what we're talking about. And if you knew how big cell phones were going to be, and you could go back in time and they said, we're going to have a cell phone training so you can be one of the first distributors and you can recruit as many distributors as you want in the cell phone arena, how many of us here would be out of our minds? Because we know how the story ends. Folks, this is history repeating itself. This is just like car insurance. Nobody needed car insurance before cars. Nobody, can we agree, needed any car insurance before cars were invented. Well, guess what? Nobody needed ID protection before the internet, before you have a home computer. Now that you have a home computer, it is absolutely a necessity for everybody to have, and you and I are going to get paid on it. Now, you've got to get a ticket. Number one, I'm sure all of us here have busy lives and schedules and things that we got to plan for. Now, if you look at your calendar, March 29th, 30th, and 31st, we're going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. This is the city of ACN. ACN's global headquarters happens to be right outside the city of Charlotte. We're going to be there for a 3-day wealth-based symposium to teach people how to get paid 24 hours a day on the biggest industries in the world. There's going to be people there from all over the United States, people coming in even from other countries, because they're going to want to be a part of what we're going to create on March 29th. So I'm telling you, number one, you got to get registered. Every single one of you, you got to buy a ticket. It's $169. But here's the second thing, and this is the most important thing for all of you. You've got to bring people with you. You've got to bring people with you. Meaning this is about building a team. This is about in changing other people's lives and in helping other people and showing them there's a better way. See, we've got to break the curse of the job mentality that most people have. Here's what I see in the country we live. People lose their jobs and they go get another job. That's almost like a girl broke your heart. You were standing at the get married. She stood you up at the wedding, and then you went back with her. And you called all your friends and family, said, I know, she broke my heart, but she's different this time. You have to, she's different. This is a socialized conditioning that we've been given. Mass conditioning for all of us to think job. And I'm telling you, I broke it in my family. I was the first one in my family to own a business, and there will be nobody after me that will ever get a job. We will employ people. We will not have jobs. And I share that with you because that might be you and your family. But you got to come to this event. This event will be history making. I am telling you, we are going to do something so monumental at the end of March that books are going to be written about this in 10 years, just like they did about Verizon Wireless, just like they did about Nationwide, just like they did for Henry Ford, just like they did for everybody else that got in the beginning of an industry and became massively successful because they were there in the beginning. Folks, I've never been in the beginning of anything. I got involved in wireless long after everybody had a cell phone. I got involved in energy long after everybody had electricity. I got involved in television long after everybody had a TV. And I've done extremely well by a lot of people's standards. But I am telling you, we are not late on this one. Folks, we have been waiting our entire life for this opportunity. Some of us will go to bed, me included, and thank God above that I'm
Hello, Amy?
Yes.